Hello and welcome to Bears Talk presented by J. Brown Realtor. We are on this Thursday, February 15th episode, and we're joined alongside by a special guest to get things started off, the head women's basketball coach in Grahm Smith after taking down number 12 ranked Catawba yesterday by the final score of 81-66. Coach, thank you so much for joining the show and congratulations on the big win yesterday.
Well, thanks again for having me. I appreciate it. Always great to be on the show, and thanks for the congrats on the big win. It was definitely a big one for us.
Yeah, 2 weeks now in the midweek slate that you guys come away with top 25 wins. Anderson a week ago, Catawba yesterday. But going to this matchup here for Catawba, would you say this is probably the win of the year at home against this Indian side?
Oh, 100%. I mean, There's no doubt about it. This is definitely the win of the year for us, especially just looking at Catawba, where they've been. They were a Final Four team a year ago, and top 25 team in the country. Ranked at 12. They've been ranked as high as 4 this year, and have just been consistently ranked the entire year. Top team in the conference right now as far as sitting at the top of the standings in the SAC. So a big win for us. Obviously, we knew that we had a big win coming into it against them. They knocked us off the first conference game of the regular season. And so for us to be able to get some payback on our home court was a huge win for us. And I think kind of a morale booster. Not that our morale was super low, but just having that confidence that we can beat anyone on any given night, and to be able to do it at home in Schufford Arena in front of a great crowd. It was unbelievable. Definitely a big win for us.
It was definitely that case, but it wasn't really the good start for your team. You quickly find yourself down 10 points early on. That first media timeout, I believe the score was 14-4, but right after that media timeout, got back into play. You guys surged, got a first quarter lead, and then held a lead of double figures for most of the night. What was the message to that team at that timeout that was able to turn it around?
Yeah, obviously not the start that we had hoped for or anticipated. One of the keys to victory for us is always to come off to a great start, ready from the jump and lock in and be ready to rock and roll right away. And unfortunately, we didn't have the start that we wanted. I think they came ready to play, right? Mm-hmm. They brought the energy, they brought the heat, the defensive intensity and pressure, and we didn't do a great job responding to that initially. We were prepared for it, we just didn't respond the right way. So we got to the media timeout and just kind of talked to ladies about settle down, take a deep breath. It starts on defense, right? You got to get stops on defense because they were scoring at will, and then we were turning the ball over. So get stops on defense and then take care of the ball, settle in, and play our game. And after that first media timeout, they were able to do that. They relaxed and started playing at our pace and our tempo, and we got stops. We were more active on defense, and we're putting the ball in the hole, and that helps as well.
Absolutely. And I think I have to ask this question because everyone's wondering it as well. What was up with the substitutions last night? The 5 in, the 5 out. Yeah. That was something we haven't really seen from your team this year, but why did you use it yesterday against Catawba?
So, as a staff, we're always trying to figure out, how can we be better, right? Mm-hmm. We're always talking to our players about improving and getting better each and every day. And so our job as a staff is to continue to put this team in the best situation to be successful night in and night out. And so after the game on Saturday at Carson, where we lost, we just didn't feel the energy that we necessarily wanted or needed. And we're like, what can we do to be better? And so as a staff, we sat down on Monday and talked about some things and how we can maybe move some things around and just give a different look. Use the team that we have in the players that we have and the talent that we have to be more effective. And I think it worked out quite well. I mean, we planned for it, and we didn't know what it was going to look like. We basically had a day and a half to work on it, so not a lot of time. And the ladies bought in, though. That was the biggest thing. They bought into it. They bought into the role, the idea of it, and something that we're continuing to work with for sure.
It was a great one. I mean, it did send the energy around Schufford Arena. The starters that came to the bench, they brought the energy. And then, speaking about the starters as well, was Mykeba Jones. She played an extra level of aggressiveness yesterday. Went to the free throw line 17 times, led your team with 20 points, went 14 from 17 from the charity stripe. How did that aggressive level really help your team as well with that emotion on the floor?
I think for us, we always talk about, not settling, right? We want to play in attack mode, obviously in transition. We want to attack. In the half court, we want to attack. We don't want to settle. We want to attack hard, strong, and then we want to finish. We want to play through contact. And so that's a message we've talked about from day one. And Mykeba Jones has been unbelievable with that. The last few games, she's been on a tear. She's been playing aggressive, been playing confident. And so we need that from her. She's obviously a very good interior presence for us, puts the ball in the hole at a high rate, very efficient. And then we know if she gets fouled, she can go to the line and knock them down as well. So having her as a weapon to be able to put the ball in the hole and also from the free throw line is huge, and she's done a great job.
There are no easy days in this conference. I mean, we were talking about yesterday in the broadcast. I felt like you guys just completed a little bit of a gauntlet playing Anderson, then the Carson Newman game in Ankataba. Looking at the standings with about 5 game days left across the conference, 4 for you.
Yep.
First to fifth is only separated by 2 games. I know it's an honor to be a part of that top 5 bunch, but how does that message still pertain? Hey, there are no easy days now. Every game matters. We have to continue holding our own in the conference. And how exciting is it that we have that stretch coming up to the end of the season?
Yeah, we're in a great position right now, right? We positioned ourselves pretty much where we want to be. We talked about from day one, we want to finish in the top 3 of the regular standings for the SAC. And right now we're in the 2 spot, right? Obviously, we'd like to get to that 1 spot. And so if we take care of business and some other things happen, we might maybe be able to get there. But for us, it's about just, like I said before, staying the course, right? Staying locked in, focusing on our goals. We talked about from day one, 1 game at a time. There was no easy games in this conference. We're not looking over anyone. You know, the next game is Saturday at home against Mars Hill. They have done much better this year. They're right around 500, and so it's going to be a competitive game. But we got to focus on 1 day at a time and stay locked in for these next 4 games. The good news is 3 of them are at home, right? We're on the road, and so to be able to have that home stretch to finish off strong, basically right where we want to be. Talked about this from day one, and we're in that position, so now I got to take care of business.
Yeah, you mentioned, like, we talk about all the time lead up to, like, February was the month that you guys are playing at home, and you guys are starting to find that success here at home. And I know you guys got a big celebration coming up. You're going to use your senior night on Saturday against Mars Hill. You got some great seniors on this team. Emily Harmon, Blakely Crooks. What is this night going to mean for the players?
It's just a great opportunity to be able to celebrate them and their accomplishments. Obviously, all of our players give a tremendous amount to this program, right? And to be able to see that take place over the last 4 years and now to be able to take time and honor them and give them a special day, it's very exciting, proud moment for them. Looking forward to be able to celebrate them, kind of put them up on the pedestal, and hopefully everyone joining in with that and just having a great day overall and hopefully getting a win.
And most importantly, the matchup that follows that celebration will be Mars Hill, a team that you talked about a little bit. They're 6-6 with this 500 conference record. You guys were able to take them down in their venue back in December, but they've taken down some good teams across this league. So what's the motive now to say, hey, we got to go turn around? I know we had that big win against Catawba yesterday, but the Lions are right in front of us.
Yeah, no letdowns, right? No letdowns, right? Keep the foot on the gas pedal, so to speak. We've got to continue to push forward and keep our eyes focused on the goal, right? Keep our eyes focused on the goal that we have, and we can't look over any teams, right? I think Mars Hill, they're playing pretty solid basketball right now, a little bit up and down, but they're a little bit different than when we saw them back in December. But so are we. I think we've kind of hit our groove, so to speak, and we're in a really good spot right now. And so it's just playing with that intensity, that emotion, that fire, that energy and enthusiasm, and doing it consistently for a full 40 minutes. And if we do that, I like our chances against anyone in this league.
Lenoir-Rhyne taking on Mars Hill, 2 p.m. right here in Hickory, North Carolina in Shuford Arena. Senior night for the team as well. Tip-off will be right around that 2 o'clock time. You can catch the action on the Bears Sports Network powered by NBA Roofing or on WHKY, or join us right here in Shuford Arena. Coach Smith, congratulations on the win once again. I know it's a big one for your program, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate having me.
Hello and welcome back to Bears Talk presented by J. Brown Realtor. Baseball season is underway and we're now joined alongside by the head baseball coach and Chris Ramirez. Coach, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. 8 games in, a 7-1 start for your team. Just talk about how great this start has been for your team and your initial thoughts on the squad.
Yeah, obviously it's always nice to get off to a winning start. Early in the season, I always think it's interesting because we're feeling out our team. Everybody's feeling out their teams. And so I also think everybody's always excited for opening weekend. Everybody always thinks they're good, whether they actually end up having a winning season or not. I think opening weekend, everybody feels really good about their team. And so, to get off to a 7-1 start, especially with 4 games on the road down in Florida, is a nice start for us.
I was going to emphasize about that 4-game series as well against Flagler. This is the first time the program has been down to Florida since 2017. And you come away with a sweep against a team that's in your region on the road. Just talk about what that start meant to travel that far, get the success that you wanted from your bats, from your pitching as well.
Yeah, it's the first time I've coached a game in Florida. It was a good trip for us. I like to open up on the road. I think it really makes it feel like season has started. You get on the bus. You get in a hotel, you get to go out to eat. You're at somebody else's facility. So just kind of from that team aspect and bonding and camaraderie, I think it's nice to open up on the road. One of the cool things, looking back on opening weekend, is we really got tested in 4 different ways in those wins. Opening night, we were able to hit some home runs and win that way, kind of play the long ball and be dangerous offensively and have our offense kind of get loud and carry us to a win. And then the next day was the opposite. We had to go with the suicide squeeze, to break a 0-0 tie in the 7th, I think, and win a close ball game. We had a couple push bunt hits and kind of play small ball to win game 2. Game 3, they jumped out to a lead. And so we had to show, our guys did a great job of just playing baseball and ended up having to come back from behind to win game 3. And then game 4, we had the lead late and we had to hold off a late rally and a team that was obviously fighting to win every one of those games and didn't want to go opening weekend being swept. And so I think those are the things that we want to see early in the season that you don't always get to. But we were able to get tested in 4 different ways and obviously hold up on the road, which was great.
You mentioned that first game with the long ball. You had to see many guys go yard in that first game of the year, but then also this last Saturday, a 19-8 victory against Southern Wesleyan. This team returns a lot of their bats this season. How much of a luxury is that for you?
Yeah, it seems like every year it's either one or the other. And this year is the year that we return some of our offensive players. So I think 7 of our 9 guys that it started last year are back in our lineup. And that should, if it goes how we want it to go, that should provide us those guys should provide us the cushion while we kind of iron everything else out, like all the teams are doing. So our offense, and they've done that. They've done a good job so far, and we're still not all the way where we need to be offensively, but those guys have definitely, given us, a good start to where we can figure out, because we do have a lot of new pitchers, and so while we're working through that and trying to, put everything together, it's nice to have, to be able to score some runs and work through all the kinks with a few runs on the board.
That was the talk about LR baseball coming into the season, was those 2 new weekend starters, trying to figure out the bullpen as well as you lose some key relief arms. But so far it's been really successful. You've had 2 weekend sweeps thanks to your weekend starters, and the bullpens look solid at times as well. What have been your thoughts of the first 8 games with this pitching department?
Yeah, I think those guys have done a really good job. And, right now, obviously Josh Lanham is kind of the backbone of our pitching staff. He's been here for year 5 now, returning All-American, and he's done such a good job in the off season of kind of recommitting physically, and he's in great shape right now, and recommitted to the long toss part of player development. It's kind of lengthened his arm back out, and he's always been able to pitch, and he can really pitch, but his velocity is starting to climb a little. Which has everybody excited, but especially Josh. And he's an energy guy and a leader, and so he's done really well. It's great to have him back. And then Chapa and Murphy have kind of been the next 2 guys that are filling our starting rotation out. Chapa he's a Texas Junior College transfer, and he's done a really good job, super efficient. He was National Pitcher of the Week already. In his first start, 6 innings, no hits, I think 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, and like 65 pitches, so he's done a really good job for us the first 2 weekends. Murphy, same thing, just, he's kind of that quiet, kind of mean guy on the mound, and, he goes out there and competes really hard for us. And so those guys have kind of stepped up from the beginning. We've got, 4 or 5 other guys that, are capable of starting here. That we're going to work through here as we start to play more midweeks. And but when they're not starting, they're in the bullpen, and so I think that gives us a lot of strength on a weekend series with the bullpen we have.
And you mentioned these weekend series coming up as well. 2024 is a new year across the South Atlantic Conference. 2 additional conference series you start this weekend, as a matter of fact, with your first SAC series play. But just as a scheduling process. You've had a couple weekends now to get the season going, and all of a sudden it's conference play. How much does that, change the dynamic of this month and this season?
Yeah, I think you have to figure it. You try to figure it out as quickly as you can anyway, but especially with conference starting, right? It feels like right off the bat. You really try to iron some things out and get ready to go. For this coming weekend. Ultimately, I think the more conference teams you play, the more fair the standings are at the end of the year. So I'm all for playing more conference games. There's no perfect way to do scheduling. You can just sit and talk for hours, and it changes all the time because there's not an obvious way, to make it perfect. So I think playing more conference opponents, it means this year we'll only skip 2 teams in our league, and usually we've been skipping 4. And I feel like that leaves a lot up to chance in terms of the final standings. And so ultimately, I think it's good. You just got to be ready right from the jump. So.
And you look at the schedule for this month as well. You have 24 home games throughout the season, but 11 of them are here at home in February. I know that's got to be a good feeling to play at home so much to begin the start of the season, but down the road you'll have more road games going up. It's an interesting dynamic for this team, but so far you've been doing really well at home. How much of a comfort is it to play right here at Durham Field?
It's always nice to play at home, and there's home field advantages for reasons, and I think besides like the conditions or the layout, it's just comfort. That's where we practice every day. The backdrop, the turf, the sky, everything it's where home is. So it's nice to get going at home. And obviously with all the upgrades that we've done from a facility standpoint, with the turf, with the video board, and then the new stadium setup. Our game day environment keeps getting better and better and better, and we get more fans and more students, and I think we're one of the better places one of the better game day environments in the conference is right here in Hickory. So the more that we can play at home, I think the better it is for everybody.
Looking ahead to the weekend, you start off this conference play that we were just talking about against the Limestone Saints. How excited are you with this group to begin that journey to Kodak, Tennessee today to try to compete for another SAC championship?
Yeah, we can't wait. We play every game. We want to play every game the same. Whether it's a Wednesday game, a Tuesday game, or a conference, weekend series. That's our mindset from a program standpoint. But obviously, you always feel a little extra juice, in that Friday conference game. The doubleheader on Saturdays. Every game means so much in the conference standings, but ultimately, as our program has advanced now to, trying to play in that NCAA tournament, every one of those games matters. One of the things that we've talked about as a program, we've won the conference tournament. We've been in the national rankings. One of the steps that we need to take next is to become, is to go win a regular season championship. Be one of the top 2 teams in the SAC in regular season conference play. We have not done that yet as a program, even though we've taken a lot of big steps. So that's something that we're striving to do, and obviously this weekend lets us kick that off.
Absolutely, Coach. A 3 p.m. first pitch tomorrow on Friday, February 16th. Lenoir-Rhyne takes on Limestone, and then, as you mentioned, a doubleheader starting at 12 p.m. on Saturday. You can get both games on the Bear Sports Network, presented by NBA Roofing, but you can also come out to the stadium as well. It's going to be some beautiful baseball being played here in Hickory, North Carolina. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Appreciate it.